On the morning of August 5th, 1962, word had already spread that something was amiss.
Ever felt that shock when you suddenly realize your favorite actor is no longer with us? It's a strange feeling, right? Stick around, because today we're counting down 35 actors who quietly left us without many even knowing. Number 35, Richard Attenborough. Think you know this name? Well, it's not the wildlife legend you're thinking of, but his brother. Let's dive in. Upon reading that name, you're probably thinking of the guy who narrated all those spectacular wildlife documentaries. But that's David. This is his brother, who was featured in films like Jurassic Park and The Great Escape. He died in 2014 of heart disease.
Let's start again, shall we?
Number 34, Heather O'Rourke. She captured hearts on screen, but her life was tragically cut short at just 12 years old. Perhaps the most tragic case on this list of celebrities who have passed away is Heather O'Rourke, who died when she was just 12 years old after undergoing surgery to remove an obstruction in her bowel. After appearing in the legendary sitcom Happy Days, O'Rourke was given her big break by none other than Steven Spielberg, who cast her in the 80s horror classic Poltergeist. She reprised her role in 2 Poltergeist sequels, with Poltergeist 3 being her final film before she sadly lost her life. Number 33, John Cazale. Ever heard of an actor with just a few movies, all of them classic? He left us way too soon. Most people know Cazale from his memorable role as Fredo in the Godfather series. However, he's also had feature roles in other greats like The Deer Hunter and Dog Day Afternoon. He passed away in 1978. Number 32, Sage Stallone. Born into Hollywood royalty, his life was tragically cut short, leaving behind heartbreak and mystery. The eldest son of Rocky and Rambo star Sylvester Stallone, Sage Stallone made his acting debut in the 1990 film Rocky V, playing his father's on-screen son. Sage Stallone was found dead on July 13, 2012 at his home in Los Angeles, and while empty prescription bottles were found at the scene, the cause of his death was later ruled to be heart disease.
I wanted to be in the film industry. I loved what my father did. I loved watching his pictures. I loved movies.
Number 31, Gregory Hines. A triple threat talent, his passing left a void in dance, music, and film. Did you know he's gone? This famous dancer, choreographer, actor was a familiar face in the 90s. He has been on shows like Law & Order and in such films as The Muppets Take Manhattan and The Preacher's Wife. He died way back in 2003 from liver cancer. Number 30, Dana Plato. A starlet who shone bright but fell into darkness. Her life ended in tragedy at just 34 years old. Another former Different Stroke star who died far too young was Dana Plato, who lost her life after taking an overdose of painkillers in 1999 at the age of 34. After her time playing Kimberly on Different Strokes ended, Plato struggled with an addiction to drugs and alcohol, which led to her experiencing both financial issues and run-ins with the police. Number 29, Charles B. Dean. Just when her star was rising, an unexpected tragedy struck, leaving fans and critics stunned. With timing that emphasized the sudden tragic nature of her death, Charles B. Dean passed away the summer her breakout performance was earning acclaim. Initially a model, Dean, also known as Charles B. Dean Creek, made her screen debut in the 2010 film Spud in her native South Africa and played supporting roles in 2017's horror film Don't Sleep and the 2018 religious drama Interview with God, before playing Cyanide on 2 seasons of the CW superhero series Black Lightning. Finally, a leading role as a model and influencer aboard a super yacht full of wealthy passengers in the scathingly satirical comedy Triangles of Sadness gave Dean the opportunity to demonstrate both her skill and charisma as a performer. The film debuted at the Cannes Film Festival in May 2023, winning the festival's prestigious Palme d'Or and earning immediate praise for Dean's work in particular. Months later, in August, Dean died in a New York hospital at the age of 32 as a result of bacterial sepsis. Specifically, The infection was a complication from asplenia, the absence of a spleen. Dean's spleen was removed following a 2008 car accident in which she was injured, leaving her vulnerable to a rare infection from a bacteria called capnotyphaga.
It must be like so tough coming from the square that was received so well and having such big expectations from everyone.
Number 28, Rob Knox. A young life full of promise was stolen in a tragic and senseless act of violence. His story is heartbreaking. Rob Knox was an actor best known for playing Marcus Belby in the 2009 film Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, after his career began at the age of 11 with smaller roles in British TV shows like The Bill. Knox had also signed up to appear in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, the next film in the Harry Potter saga, but he died tragically at the age of 18 after being stabbed outside a bar in London. The tragedy occurred after Knox intervened in a fight between his brother and two men, one of whom was later sentenced to life in prison. Number 27, Richard Griffiths. He was unforgettable as Uncle Vernon in Harry Potter, but his passing flew under many fans' radar. British character actor Richard Griffiths was known for roles on the big and small screen, such as the lecherous Uncle Monty in the British comedy With Nail and I, and the pie-baking police inspector Henry Crabb in the UK series Pie in the Sky. Griffiths' most impactful role, however, was certainly Vernon Dursley, the ill-tempered uncle of the titular wizard in the Harry Potter film franchise. In 2013, Griffiths passed away at 65. His agent, Simon Beresford, told the Associated Press that his death was due to complications following heart surgery.
I saw him in the late 70s as a distinguished member of the Royal Shakespeare Company. He was a wonderful classical actor.
Number 26, Dana Hill. She stayed young on screen, but her real-life health struggles led to a tragic early death at just 32. Dana Hill was one of the most ubiquitous child actors of the early 80s, appearing in TV guest spots on series ranging from Mork and Mindy to Magnum P.I. Perhaps her best-known role, however, was Audrey Griswold in the 1985 sequel National Lampoon's European Vacation. After that, she segued into a career as a voice actor in animated series such as Rugrats and Sonic the Hedgehog. As People reported, Hill, whose real name was Dana Hill Getz, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 10, a condition that stunted her growth and allowed her to play characters far younger than she actually was. Sadly, the diabetes also left her kidneys damaged, causing her to be frequently hospitalized over the years. Those health issues came to a head in May 1995 when she went into a diabetic coma and then suffered a stroke. 40 days later, she died at age 32. Number 25, Michael Clarke Duncan. Remember the gentle giant from The Green Mile? His sudden passing left many fans in disbelief. Nominated for an Academy Award for his heartbreaking performance as John Coffey in the 1990 film The Green Mile, Michael Clarke Duncan lost his life on September 3, 2012, after a 2-month stint in the hospital following a heart attack. Duncan appeared in a number of blockbuster films, including Armageddon, Planet of the Apes, The Scorpion King, and Daredevil.
I'm tired, boss. I'm tired of never having me a buddy to be with.
Number 24, Michael Jeter. Whether you know him from The Green Mile or Sesame Street, his quiet passing left a gap in Hollywood. Actor Michael Jeter was most notable for his numerous television roles, playing bumbling assistant football coach Herman Stiles on the sitcom Evening Shade. Younger viewers, however, watched him as the brother of Mr. Noodle, Bill Irwin, on Sesame Street. In the movies, Jeter was best known for playing a homeless cabaret singer in Robin Williams starring The Fisher King and The Green Mile actor Edouard Delacroix, a death row inmate with a thick Cajun accent who befriends a mouse he names Mr. Jingles. He was also seen as a dinosaur hunter in Jurassic Park 3 and a patient in Patch Adams. Jeter, who was HIV positive, passed away of natural causes at age 50. According to his obituary, he was in the midst of motion capture filming for the animated holiday film The Polar Express at the time of his death.
Money. I mean, they got no witnesses because the guy who saw me without my mask on is half blind.
Number 23, Brad Renfro. He was a Hollywood prodigy with a dark side, but his untimely death shocked even those who knew him well. A star of 22 films, including the critically acclaimed Sleepers and the controversial Apt Pupil, Brad Renfro was being raised by his grandmother in a trailer park before he made his acting debut in the 1994 legal thriller The Client when he was just 11 years old. Renfro later struggled with an addiction to drugs that led him to being arrested a number of times, and he met a sad end in January 2008 at the age of 25 after overdosing on a cocktail of narcotics.
If I were Wyatt in my everyday dealings, I would get chewed up like a dog.
Number 22, John Garfield. He wasn't Hollywood's pretty boy, but his performances were gripping. His mysterious death is still talked about today. John Garfield was not a heartthrob. He was an average-looking guy. That was actually beneficial, allowing him to play a range of everyman characters. His first film was 1938's Four Daughters, for which he received an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. It was in film noir where he arguably achieved his greatest success, though. Pictures like The Postman Always Rings Twice, Body and Soul, and Humoresque showed his skill in portraying relatively normal guys with dark or troubled sides underneath. His supporting role in 1947's Gentleman's Agreement is one of his most acclaimed performances. Whereas his more dashing contemporaries occasionally found their matinee idol looks getting in the way, Garfield's normal appearance provided him with an identifiable quality, no matter what kind of character he took on. The actor suffered a fatal heart attack at age 39. It is believed by many who knew him that Garfield was under considerable stress related to his refusal to cooperate with the House Committee on Un-American Activities, which wanted him to rat out show business colleagues. There was a dark period in American history, and he found himself right in the middle of it. Number 21, Leonard Nimoy. Even if you're not a Star Trek fan, this actor's death might surprise you. He was truly out of this world. There's no chance that any Star Trek fan missed Leonard Nimoy's death back in 2015. But for others who weren't as familiar with the show, this may come as a shock. Number 20, Lisa Robin Kelly. She was the sarcastic older sister on That 70s Show, but her real-life struggles led to a tragic end. Viewers of That 70s Show will certainly recall actor Lisa Robin Kelly, who played Lori Foreman, the sarcastic older sister of Topher Grace's character Eric Foreman. However, those same viewers were no doubt confused when Kelly's character was written out of the show in 2001. Kelly returned to the spotlight in 2010, albeit not the way that she would have preferred, due to a DUI arrest. In a 2012 interview with ABC News, she explained that she parted ways with That 70s Show after she began misusing alcohol, which she said stemmed from becoming despondent in the wake of suffering a miscarriage. The following year, Kelly entered a drug rehabilitation center. It was there, reported the New York Times, that she died in her sleep. She was just 43. Kelly's death was determined to be an accidental overdose. Number 19, Erin Moran. She was America's sweetheart on Happy Days, but her final days were anything but happy. Erin Moran was just 13 when she was cast on Happy Days, playing Joni Cunningham on the series throughout its run from 1974 to 1984. She and co-star Scott Baio then struck out on their own with the spin-off Joni Loves Chachi, which was axed after just 2 seasons. After that, the success she'd enjoyed on Happy Days eluded her. Other than a few bit parts on TV series such as The Love Boat and Diagnosis Murder, acting roles dried up. In 2012, she and the rest of the Happy Days cast won a settlement in a lawsuit. She reportedly received about $60,000 as compensation for using their likenesses on merchandise. However, a subsequent report from Radar Online claimed Moran quickly spent most of the settlement. She was reportedly homeless and destitute when she got in a physical altercation with her husband's mom, who had kicked the couple out of her mobile home in an Indiana trailer park. She was said to have been writing a memoir, Happy Days, Depressing Nights, presumably chronicling her post-TV struggles with depression and substance abuse. Moran passed away at age 56 in 2017. An autopsy confirmed she died of stage 4 cancer. Number 18. Anton Yelchin. Young, talented, and gone too soon. This rising star's tragic death shocked Hollywood. The only thing more shocking than Anton Yelchin's passing was the manner of it. The actor, who was only 27 at the time, was killed when his Cherokee rolled down the slope of his driveway, hitting him between his mailbox and a security fence. Even worse, according to a lawsuit filed against the automaker by his parents, Yelchin was crushed and lingered alive for some time, trapped and suffocating until his death. It was one of those freak accidents that rattle all of us to our cores to hear about. Despite his young age, he developed a large base of admirers, constituting both audiences and critics. He made romances such as like crazy, horror movies including Fright Night, comedies like Charlie Bartlett, and everything in between. He was also part of the Terminator and Star Trek franchises. His work as Pat in the intense thriller Green Room perhaps best exemplified his trademark mix of intelligence and normal guy appeal. Number 17. Jean Stapleton. Her high-pitched voice and lovable character made her a TV icon. But did you know she's been gone for years? Stapleton was a fantastic actor who was most known for her role as Archie Bunker's high-pitched wife Edith on All in the Family. She passed away due to natural causes at the age of 90 back in 2013.
I was shaking you, yelling at you to go down and fix my breakfast. I didn't know.
Number 16. Marcia Wallace. From The Bob Newhart Show to The Simpsons, this actor's voice and humor are dearly missed. Back in the 1970s, Marcia Wallace got big laughs as the wisecracking, crimson-haired receptionist Carol Kester on beloved TV sitcom The Bob Newhart Show. Among her many subsequent screen credits, Wallace also gained fame for lending her distinctive voice to Edna Crabapple, Bart Simpson's cynical schoolteacher on The Simpsons. In 2013, the Los Angeles Times reported that Wallace passed away at age 70. Her son, Michael Hawley, told the Times that her health had been poor during the months leading to her death, which came about due to complications related to pneumonia. Wallace had previously undergone surgery for breast cancer, but Hawley said she'd been declared cancer-free. The death certificate, however, was obtained by TMZ and reportedly indicated the primary cause as pneumonia, sepsis, inflammation due to infection, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, with cancer listed as a significant condition. Number 15. Andy Hallett. Fans of Buffy the Vampire Slayer spinoff Angel will remember him well, but he left this world way too soon. Andy Hallett was an actor and musician who became a fan favorite in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer spinoff Angel. As fans will remember well, he portrayed a green-skinned lounge singer demon with the unlikely name of Lorne. Sadly, Angel proved to be Hallett's final live-action role before he passed away from congestive heart disease in 2009. He was just 33. According to Hallett's obituary, his heart condition was diagnosed near the end of Angel in 2004. After the show's cancellation, he decided it would be better for his health to stop acting. Instead, he shifted his focus to his other love, music. During those years, however, he spent more and more time in hospitals as his health apparently deteriorated. Number 14. Chris Penn. Brother to an Oscar winner, Chris Penn was a talented actor in his own right, but his early death was tragic. Brother of the Academy Award-winning actor Sean Penn, Chris Penn was a well-renowned actor in his own right, appearing in films such as Footloose, Reservoir Dogs, and True Romance. Tragically, Penn was found dead January 24, 2006 at age of just 40, the primary cause of which later revealed to be heart disease. Number 13. Andy Kaufman. Was it just another one of his elaborate pranks? Even in death, this comedy legend kept people guessing. There's not much Andy Kaufman didn't do in his brief time. He became a household name through the sitcom TV Taxi, on which he hilariously played kooky mechanic Latka Gravis. Movies came calling. And while no one would call Heartbeeps or In God We Trust classics, they at least allowed him to tinker with film. Finally, he reinvented himself as an expert practitioner of hoaxes, staging a phony long-running feud with wrestler Jerry Lawler and famously being kicked off Saturday Night Live for his antics. As if all that wasn't enough, Kaufman had a whole second career as his alter ego, lounge act Tony Clifton, although Clifton was sometimes portrayed by Kaufman's good friend Bob Zmuda. The comedian was so good at hoaxes that many people simply didn't believe it when he died of lung cancer in 1984. He didn't smoke and was notoriously health conscious, so the diagnosis sounded like one of his pranks. Number 12, Taylor Negron. He was in countless movies and TV shows, but you might not realize how much you've seen him over the years. While Taylor Negron's name may not be instantly recognizable, his face will no doubt be familiar. Negron boasted an extensive array of credits on both the small and large screens, including TV series ranging from Curb Your Enthusiasm to Party of Five, and such films as Fast Times at Ridgemont High, in a small but memorable role as a pizza delivery guy who delivers a pie to Sean Penn's Jeff Spicoli during class. In 2015, Negron passed away at age 57 from cancer. Number 11, David Graff. He was a key part of the Police Academy films, but his sudden death shocked fans and colleagues alike. While Police Academy may not have bowled over the critics, the wacky comedies were beyond beloved by audiences, ultimately spawning 6 sequels and a short-lived TV series. A mainstay of the Police Academy franchise was actor David Graff in the role of uber-enthusiastic officer Eugene Tackleberry, whose tendency to overreact to even the tiniest whiff of a crime became a running gag throughout the movies. Number 10, James Avery. Best known as Uncle Phil, his passing left a void in millions of fans' hearts around the world. He had a career that spanned 3 decades, 50 films, and countless TV shows. But to us, James Avery will always be Uncle Phil, after his many years of playing Philip Banks in the classic American sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. James Avery had a huge fan base up until his death in 2013. Uncle Phil was one of the greatest TV father figures of all time, so we most definitely miss Avery, who passed away at the age of 68 due to complications from open heart surgery. Number 9, Earl Hindman. He was the wise neighbor in Home Improvement, but many never got to see his face before he passed away. Earl Hindman spent 8 seasons of one of television's most beloved sitcoms, yet never once showed his face. That was on purpose, given that Hindman, who passed away at the age of 61 in 2003, portrayed Wilson, the next-door neighbor of Tim Allen's character in ABC comedy hit Home Improvement. As viewers will recall, the character, whose full name was actually Wilson K. Wilson Jr., Ph.D., kept his face hidden from view, typically obscured below the eyes by the fence between their backyards, as he offered sage advice to Allen's bumbling toolman Tim Taylor. Hindman had been a professional actor for more than 30 years. Prior to landing his iconic Home Improvement role, 16 of those years were spent playing Detective Bob Reed on the daytime soap opera Ryan's Hope. On the big screen, he appeared in such films as The Ballad of the Sad Cafe, 3 Men and a Baby, and The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. The cause of Hindman's death was lung cancer. Number 8, Glenn Quinn. He brought humor and heart to Roseanne and Angel, but his life was tragically cut short by addiction. Andy Hallett wasn't the only Angel actor to lose his life at far too young an age. Dublin-born actor Glenn Quinn, who played Irish Demon Doyle in the series' first season, tragically died of an accidental heroin overdose in 2002. As the Irish Times reported, he was 32 years old. Quinn had previously enjoyed much success portraying the boyfriend and, after they eloped, husband of eldest Connor's sibling Becky in the sitcom Roseanne. As Michael Fishman, who played DJ Connor, told The Independent, on Roseanne, Glenn was a professional. any struggles he had started while working on Angel. In fact, The Independent noted that reports at the time claimed Quinn was dealing with substance abuse during the episodes of Angel in which he appeared, and rumors suggested he was confrontational on the set. According to Quinn's sister, a 1997 return to Ireland may have been the tipping point. It was at this time that Glenn's struggles took over. Though there were periods of sobriety, ultimately it consumed him, she said. Number 7. James Reborn. The ultimate that guy actor. You've seen him everywhere, but his long battle with cancer went under the radar. The ultimate what do I know that guy from actor James Reborn died after a lengthy battle with melanoma in 2014. He found success later in his career from his role on Homeland. Number 6. Wendy Jo Sperber. Her bubbly charm lit up every role she took on, but her courageous fight against cancer took her too soon. Actor Wendy Jo Sperber's big break came when she was cast in the 1978 comedy I Want to Hold Your Hand, playing a teenage girl in 1964 with an over-the-top obsession with the Beatles. More high-profile roles followed, including the Steven Spielberg-directed comedy 1941 and Back to the Future, playing the sister of Michael J. Fox's Marty McFly. Sperber also starred alongside Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari in the cross-dressing sitcom Bosom Buddies, which debuted in 1980. For the next 2 decades, Sperber continued to rack up screen credits on both the big and small screens. In addition to being a series regular on short-lived TV series Babes and Hearts of Fire, she appeared as a guest star on Murphy Brown, Will and Grace, Jag, Touched by an Angel, and many more. Sadly, Sperber was 46 when she passed away in 2005 from breast cancer. Number 5. Rowdy Roddy Piper. He was a wrestling legend and Hollywood star, but his sudden death left fans reeling. In the pantheon of professional wrestling, Rowdy Roddy Piper loomed large during wrestling's heyday in the 1980s. In fact, Piper was at the center of the WWE's, then WWF, very first WrestleMania event, partnering with Paul Orndorff to take on Hulk Hogan and Mr. T in a tag team match. Piper, who was born Roderick Toombs, fought an astounding 7,000 matches during a wrestling career that began when he was just 15. In addition to his prowess in the ring, Piper was known for his wildly entertaining pre-match interviews, which led him to Hollywood. Most notable among the many films and TV series in which he appeared was his starring role in the 1988 sci-fi film They Live, uttering the new, iconic line, "I am here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum." Piper died in 2015 at age 61 when a blood clot in one of his lungs led to a fatal heart attack. WWE CEO Vince McMahon paid tribute in a statement to the Oregonian, describing Piper as one of the WWE's most entertaining, controversial, and bombastic performers ever. Number 4. Harold Ramis. Ghostbusters fans, you might want to brace yourself. This comedy genius left a legacy that's still felt today. Even if you don't know the name, you definitely know the face. Ramis lent his talents to such hilarious films as Ghostbusters, Stripes, Animal House, Caddyshack, Groundhog Day, and many more. He passed away in 2014. The star, who was also a well-renowned director and called the shots on films like National Lampoon's Vacation and Groundhog Day, passed away in 2014 due to complications arising from an autoimmune disease, an illness that meant he was unable to walk for the last few years of his life. Number 3. Gary Coleman. He was once one of the biggest child stars in America, but his later years were a sad fall from grace. Gary Coleman made his name playing Arnold Jackson in the U.S. sitcom Different Strokes, a role that often forced him to utter his legendary catchphrase, "What you talking about, Willis?" Different Strokes ended when Coleman was just 18 years old, and the star later struggled with both finances and health, dying from an epidural hematoma in 2010 at the age of 42.
Whether it's, work as a security officer, which I have done and I am not ashamed of because it's a job.
Number 2. John Spencer. Fans of The West Wing were devastated when the show's storyline suddenly mirrored real life. Acting professionally since the 60s, John Spencer had amassed a lengthy list of credits in film and television when he was cast as White House Chief of Staff Leo McGarry in The West Wing. Spencer's performance won him critical acclaim, along with 5 Emmy nominations and 1 win. Sadly, the most celebrated role of Spencer's career would also be his last. In the show's 6th season, a plot twist featured Leo suffering a near-fatal heart attack. In a bizarre case of life imitating art, the following year, Spencer himself suffered a heart attack at age 58. Unlike Leo, Spencer didn't survive. The actor was taken to a Los Angeles hospital where he was declared dead. Number 1. Kelly Preston. A talented actor and devoted mother. Her passing caught the world by surprise. Let's honor her story. After making her on-screen debut in Hawaii Five-0 in 1980, it didn't take long before Hawaii native Kelly Preston landed her breakout role in the R-rated romantic comedy Mischief. Since then, the actor also took on several notable film roles. At one point, she played the girlfriend that Tom Cruise ended up dumping in the hit film Jerry Maguire. Preston also famously played the mom in the family comedy The Cat in the Hat. Indeed, Preston had done a lot of comedy over the years, and interestingly, there was also comedy that led her to the love of her life, John Travolta. Travolta and Preston first met while working on the 1989 comedy The Experts. A few years later, on New Year's Eve 1991, the couple became engaged. In the years that followed, Preston continued to pursue her career while also remaining a dedicated mom to the couple's 3 children. Together, Preston and Travolta also dealt with tragedy after losing their oldest child, son Jet, in 2009 while in the Bahamas. In the years that followed, the bond between the couple grew stronger than ever. Preston even starred opposite her husband one final time in the 2018 crime biopic Gotti. Just 2 years later, in 2020, a family representative announced that Preston died of breast cancer. In the 2 years leading up to her death, she sought medical treatment, although she kept her condition.
It was one of my favorite roles ever. Ever. And she's amazing.
Thanks for watching. If you were surprised by today's list, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Don't stop here. Check out our other videos to uncover more hidden Hollywood secrets and fascinating stories. See you next time.